Welcome back to the Indy Boys Racing Podcast. How are we doing today? It's a very beautiful Monday night. Cold one in Indy. We had snow over the weekend. That was unexpected, but I mean, hey, it is what it is. Beautiful race we had this weekend in Brazil. It was, in my opinion, top 3 F1 race of the season. Very good. We saw some highs from my boy Kevin Magnussen putting it on pole. We saw some lows from Daniel Ricciardo taking him out on lap 1, and we saw some dominance from one guy in particular. George Russell finally gets himself into victory lane.
No, I didn't wear the shirt today.
It's all right. What a performance. Congratulations, George Russell, on finally getting into becoming an F1 Grand Prix winner. Jay, you're going to remember
see
this.
Our favorite drivers. We got to see our favorite drivers have a good weekend.
Yeah, we did. And
Jay got to see his driver have a sad weekend.
R.I.P. Lando.
Oh, well.
But, hey,
I was thinking
birthday,
Sergio. But...
Lando Norris.
If Lando's out, I'm cheering for Lewis, so it's okay.
Thanks. And
Not
there's
Sergio?
actually a lot of drama from this one. We're going to talk all about it. But first, I got to introduce my co-hosts. My name's Tristan Grider, joined with my incredible co-hosts, Daniel Chaney and Justin Cox. Jay, how we doing today, brother?
Bruh, I'm all right. I guess. I don't know. Class went by really slow today. I've been working on the Discord in the meantime. So, I'm trying to set that up. And we also have... Should I let them know what we're doing in the next 2 weeks?
I mean, I feel like we could let them know next week. Let's let them know next week.
Okay, all right. We'll save that for next week. So
we'll save it for the season finale.
Yeah, so the season finale will allow you guys in on this little secret we're gonna do. It's not like anything too special, but like it's gonna be cool. So, but yeah, but I've been all right, man. Just hanging out, chilling out, work, class, working on the podcast, hanging out with my girlfriend, friends. It is what it is. I guess. All right. So, yeah. Daniel, what's up?
I'm having a pretty solid day. I'm still fighting the urge to not shave for No Shave November.
You can't, bro.
I know.
If I could grow facial hair, dude, it'd be amazing.
I like it more than I thought I would, but I still don't.
Looks good.
Love it.
It does look good.
It depends. We'll see. We'll see.
You gonna go full Jeff? Or
no, I'm not going bald, man. Not yet.
Not yet.
Dang.
Before age 30, that's a different question. But right this moment, no.
Dang.
Dude, but this is only 2 weeks. I don't know if I can make more than 3. I don't know if I can go the full month. Three weeks at least. That's what I'm shooting for.
You can do it. You've already made it 2.
We'll try. I know, but it's bothering me, bro. I'm used to having baby face.
Yeah, do you guys like my beard pretty much so far? I'm, chilling, having a good time. It's pretty solid, I would say.
No, I'm working really hard right now.
Yeah.
Though I do think when I do decide to shave it, I think first, before it's all gone, I gotta try the mustache. For the memes.
The Bottas stash.
Dude, I'm gonna look like
Bottas.
I'm gonna look like a 90s NASCAR driver.
Bottas is out there growing that, he's growing in some hair. Like he's got the longest hair I've ever seen Bottas have.
Yeah.
Also, shout out Jerry Grider. Just walked in here, brought me some hot cocoa. So
Nice.
This is gonna be hot. This is gonna be really hot. So we're gonna let it cool for a little.
Hot coffee pot.
That's an awfully hot coffee pot. Should I drop it? Probably not. It's crazy. But we have a lot of news to talk about. First thing, though, I do want to talk about before we go into Motorsport Media. I'm wearing the Andretti Autosport hat today for a reason, and we'll talk about it. But Jamie Chadwick, guys, was basically confirmed today to be going to Indy Lights. They posted a video on NBC.
Indy Next, I believe. You mean?
Indy Next. I'm sorry, Indy Next. It's interesting. we've been covering it. Jay, if you want to transition to the Motorsport media, we can go ahead and start with it. All right. So, what does Jamie Chadwick mean for Indy Lights? Very big name. Very successful in the W Series. Jay has followed pretty much her entire career, and Daniel's been pushing for her and actually called it all the way back in May that she was going to be in Indy Lights. So pretty big fans over here. I think that she will do extremely well. Let's just hope this isn't another Lindsay Brewer, and we'll be fine.
I believe she's got a full-time ride for one of the USF Indy Pro, whatever it's called now.
I think she is going down, actually. I think because she was in Indy Pros last season, I think she's going to go down to whatever the USF 2000 equivalent is now.
Yeah.
I think she's going down, but we'll see. Jamie Chadwick to Andretti Autosport, guys. That is another car taken away by Andretti. So now we know of 3 people that are going to be racing for Andretti next season. Hunter McElroy, what's his name? The guy who won Indy.
Lewis Foster.
Lewis Foster and Jamie Chadwick. We still don't know about Stingray. Indy Boys fans, I know how much you love Stingray. We love Stingray. No news about whether or not he's gotten an IndyCar seat yet. I might text him, ask him how it's going. He has done tests, but no news as of now. But Daniel, go ahead and tell us about the other IndyCar news.
All right. So there is some IndyCar rumors right now. Specifically...
Oh my God, this is hot. Oh my, this is awfully hot. Coffee. It's not coffee. God, this is hot.
Tristan's burning his tongue on these flaming hot, spicy takes we got for you today. But there have been some rumors with Dale Coyne Racing and a potential third car. We know this has been kind of rumored for a while over if they'd have a third-time car, part-time, full-time, if they would have the engine space for it, because the whole Honda engine crisis, I guess. It's all been very confusing. But now it's being reported that a third-time car will be part-time. As of now, it will be part-time. That could change. Plans always change. Who knows? If this is set to happen, the question would be if Takuma Sato wants to stay full-time or not, or retire altogether. David Malukas is still under contract for one more year in the 18. The 51, Sato's still under contract, but he's getting up there in age, and reports have kind of been conflicted over like what's going to happen with him. So it's being reported that the rumor is Takuma Sato will be going part-time, ovals only, in the third car. But this could also be ovals only in the 51. Somebody else would do street road courses. As of now, there's not
Very
just one
similar.
name.
Very similar to 2021.
Yeah. Jimmy Johnson mode.
Or
but-
Ramon Grosjean in Fittipaldi mode. I mean,
That too.
Yeah.
Well, did Fittipaldi only do the 500 though?
I thought Fittipaldi did the whole. Fittipaldi,
I don't remember
did,
if he did like Texas.
I think he did Texas. I don't know.
I don't
I'd
know.
have to go back and look at racing
Well-
reference.
We'll fact check eventually. But the rumored names right now, obviously Linus Lundqvist is up there, and then Marcus Armstrong is also very much up there.
A guy that is probably going to be in IndyCar either
Yeah.
this year, next IndyCar or F1. It's going to be one.
He'll be in IndyCar next year because remember,
Yeah.
Humco still has a spot to announce. If he's not
Yes.
going to Coyne, he's going to Humco's. He's just tested with Coyne. So it's really just up to if it's Linus or Marcus Armstrong. In my opinion, other names could come up, but we don't know. It's all rumors. We also don't know if the third car will be a thing. It could be Sato part-time in the 51 doing the ovals, and then Armstrong or Linus does the other part-time for the street and road courses. But that's really all we have to report on that right now. We will keep you guys updated with whatever news comes out of that after that.
All right, let's go ahead and talk NASCAR really quick before we go into the F1 brigade, which is going to be this episode. Mike Kelly is going to be the new crew chief for the 47 car for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. You might remember that name because he won back-to-back championships with Stenhouse in Xfinity back when he was driving for Roush. But you might be thinking, where's Brian Patty going? You know, Brian Patty, the guy who has been Stenhouse's crew chief the entirety of his career, he's going to the Truck Series. He's going to be that 51 crew chief for KBM. He's going to be for Kyle Busch and for Jack Wood and all of those guys. So interesting. This is some news after Phoenix. Chris Gale was fined $5,000 for a loose lug nut on the 51 car of Ty Gibbs. That's all for that. Mike Harmon Racing is going to have a new co-owner with Gary Keller. So he'll be on. So now the new official name of Mike Harmon Racing is Mike Harmon Racing with Gary Keller. Very IndyCar-esque there. And finally, all of the NASCAR Cup Series, Truck Series, and Xfinity Series start times were released, and there is not a single Cup event that is starting before 2 p.m. That's madness. Obviously, NASCAR pushed for later start times so that the California audience can get to watch the races not at like 9 in the morning. But Daytona starting at 2:30 again. It's going to be another rainy day in February.
It's a rainy
I've said
day every day in February, though.
Facts. The thing that annoys me now.
Florida, not February.
Florida,
it's a rainy
yeah.
day every day in Florida. So.
The thing that annoys me now, thing that annoys me now is that we're going to see some more rain races. Literally, it rained, I believe, in 16 out of the, 36 races this season. And that's insane numbers. And 13 of those races, I believe, were in the final half of the season, which is insane. But, I mean, it is what it is. No really big NASCAR news this week, guys. We didn't have any, mind-boggling announcements. But there is a mind-boggling announcement that is supposed to come out this week on the F1 side. So, Jay, go ahead and drop this box office bomb.
Well, it's supposed to come out Wednesday, but it's already kind of been leaked and reported. Haas is reportedly getting rid of Mick Schumacher, and they're booting him out, and they're bringing in the Hulkster, the Hulkamania. Yeah, brother. No, I'm just saying. They're bringing in.
Oh, that's a Macho Man.
Yeah. They're bringing in.
No, that was Clash of Clans. My bad.
They're bringing in Nico Hulkenberg. Cricket.
I wanted Drugovich.
I know, I wanted Felipe Drugovich too. So I'm kind of upset with this. I would rather have Mick in there or Felipe Drugovich. I don't know why they're bringing Nico Hulkenberg. So
Plus, we'll find out this week whether or not Logan Sargent's going to be in F1 next season.
That is true.
It's true.
That is true.
That'll be cool.
As long
He
as
has to get above P6, right?
As long as he
Which
gets
he will. As long as he doesn't retire, pretty much.
Yeah. As long as he gets the super license points, he'll be in F1 next season for Williams. So that's awesome. But then after the race, Daniel Ricciardo has been awarded a three-place grid penalty for Abu Dhabi, and he has received 2 penalty points, which won't really matter much after this next race. But he's going to receive 2 penalty points for his contact with Kevin Magnussen. And finally, a rumor that has come out over this past weekend is that Checo supposedly crashed on purpose at Monaco to improve his starting position ahead of Max. And
was this last season?
No, this was this season.
Didn't Checo win Monaco?
Yeah, he crashed in qualifying.
Oh, that's right. I was so confused.
Yeah.
He
crashed in qualifying, so that way Max started behind him and then didn't improve his time or whatever. And that's kind of honestly what helped Checo win the race, is that he was ahead of Max, honestly. But this is true. It's not necessarily a rumor, I guess, as much as you
had a good weekend that weekend.
Yeah. This is true, though, because although I am a Checo fan, but there is evidence and videos of him showing he wasn't even at the apex of the corner yet, and he maxed full throttle to flip the car around, and he spun it into the barriers at T8 or Portier and Monaco. So yeah, that's interesting. So Checo, that's why Max did not let Checo pass, and Max said that was his reasoning or whatever. So, and that was all leaked this past weekend. So yeah, a lot of drama. But I mean, if you want to, we can get into race weekend right now and just
go right ahead, bro.
Okay.
Might as well,
ahead.
you know.
I want to talk about my Haas highs and lows.
Okay. All right, so a lot happened this weekend. K-Mag, Denny Rick coming together, then Lando and Charles getting together right after that. Mercedes was dominant, Red Bull imploded. Like I tweeted this out. I don't know if anybody was looking at my Twitter this weekend, but Interlagos should be the season finale, in my opinion. I don't care what anybody says. Interlagos, Brazil, should be the season finale for F1. I don't care.
I agree, but that's just because my boy K-Mag put it on pole. Sure, rain played a factor, and sure, he ended up starting 8th in the sprint race, but it goes down on paper that K-Mag got his first career pole this weekend.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So now let's get into the question, guys. So my first question is, who is at fault with Max and Lewis? So Lewis takes the inside into turn 1, and which that turns into the outside for turn 2 as you go downhill. Max chose the outside entering turn 1, and Max decided to keep his car on the inside on the inside in the gap entering T2. Lewis was ahead before the apex, but Max was significantly alongside and probably should have been left a lot more space than there was. But Max ended up taking a 5-second time penalty, and Lewis's chances of winning potentially winning was ruined. So I wanted to hear what your guys' take on the incident between Max and Lewis was. Tristan, you can go.
Yeah, I'll start. So when I first watched this incident happen, I thought it was Max's fault. So Max, from my view before the restart, initiated the contact. He sent it down. Originally, I was thinking not in my F1 mind. I was thinking in my IndyCar and NASCAR mind that you don't have to leave space. But that is like an F1 thing that you have to leave at least a car's width of space if someone is coming around on your inside. Lewis did not leave that, and as much as no matter what side you're on, Lewis and Max, obviously I'm on Team Lewis, and I think all of us are on Team Lewis. But this was Hamilton's fault, and it did cost Max this race. It did cost Lewis this race because, sure, Lewis ended up finishing second. I believe Verstappen ended up finishing P7, but it ruined both of their chances really at winning because Hamilton couldn't really catch Russell. I don't even think he would have really. To be honest with you, I think he wanted George to get his first win. But this was Hamilton's fault, and Verstappen, I think, deserved the time penalty for initiating the contact, but I think Hamilton probably should have gotten a penalty as well for not leaving space. That's just me.
Daniel.
Honestly, I think it's more of just like a racing incident. Obviously, I was annoyed by it in the moment because I was like, oh, why would Max do that, you know? But then after kind of like being on social media and looking at the clip a bit more and then looking at, I believe it was the same race in 2018, I want to say. A very similar thing happened between Max and I believe Esteban Ocon. And I think both incidents are near identical in both racing incidents. I do kind of find annoyance with how Max was treating it like after the incident because it kind of seemed like he had no remorse for the incident. He was kind of like rubbing it in. He was like, well, we screwed Lewis's day. Ha ha ha. Like,
fair.
I think that's kind of not the right way to go about it, but I do think the actual incident it's more innocent than people seem to be treating it. I think it is just a raw racing incident. They happen all the time.
The one I was surprised about is that they gave Lando a time penalty for Charles Leclerc because I thought that one was
he deserved.
I thought that one was a little bit more of a racing incident. I don't know. That's just me. But I can see why they gave him the time penalty. I loved seeing the replay of Leclerc flipping off him as he's spinning around. That was so funny. That was put on national television. That was hilarious. But there was a lot of like issues this weekend between teammates. I mean, you had like the issues with Alpine, which I'm sure we'll get into. Literally on fire.
Yeah. My take on it is that I believe Lewis was at fault completely. So Lewis can see Max entering into turn one. So Max is he backs out but he's still alongside. Lewis knows how Max races, and we all know how Max races. Lewis probably should have known Max was going to keep it there. Lewis being the experienced veteran that he is. I personally believe Lewis should have taken a little more caution than turning into the next corner, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not saying Lewis is terrible or something. He can't race Whittleville, because I have seen a lot of people talking about that. He can race perfectly fine in Whittleville. It's just that I think there should have been a lot more room left for Max, and Lewis should have probably not chopped the corner as much as he did.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, did Max throw it in there? Yeah, kind of. It can go both ways. Like at first, I viewed it as a racing incident. Then I viewed it as Max. Then I viewed it as Lewis. I don't know. My opinion is going to change a lot, but I don't know. It could be. It's a racing incident, but I think it leans more on Lewis for causing the contact, in my opinion. So that's my take. So next question. Both of my questions involving Max. So Max was about 4 to 5 seconds ahead of Checo while they were taking the white flag, and Christian Horner. And he was told by Christian Horner that if he cannot catch Fernando Alonso, that he needs to let Checo pass and take the championship points. Max did not let Checo pass. And he stated that, I already told you guys this past summer from what happened at Monaco, I gave my reasons, and I told you guys not to tell me these things again. As we talked a bit in Motorsports Media, was Max right not to let Checo through? Now Charles and Checo are tied at 290 points each going into Abu Dhabi for P2 in the World Drivers' Championship. I think that Max was wrong to not let Checo through. You have already secured the Drivers' Championship. What happened at Monaco was 6 months ago. You're already going to win the World Drivers' Championship. Help your team out. That's how I view it. That's my view. I'll let Tristan go.
I agree, but at the same time, I look back at what happened with Ferrari this weekend as well. Charles Leclerc literally was bitching the entire last 2 laps.
Yeah,
like
he was trying to get
his radio was tuned up until the final corner. Like they almost missed George Russell, like getting his George Russell will get a victory lane, because Leclerc is just like, think of the points. Like, I'm sorry, you can't take a podium from your teammate. That's a whole thing. But that pissed me off in the first place. Mm-hmm. Secondly, you mentioned it. Like, Christian Horner, like, told him, like, hey, if you can't get past Fernando, we need you to move back.
Checo through. Yeah.
Like let Checo through. And he said it, in a very calm F1 way. Hey, we need you to go back. He should have done it. He needed to be a good teammate. Checo has done so much for Max Verstappen, especially last season.
Without Checo, he does not have 2 World Drivers' Championships. I just want to say that right now.
Yeah,
I agree.
He can, there's a reason why Ricciardo left. All I'm saying. Daniel Ricciardo literally would rather drive for Renault than drive for Red Bull Racing and be teammates with Max Verstappen. That's all I'm saying. And there were rumors that Ricciardo was looking back, and he was Ricciardo looking at the drama between Red Bull to see if he has an open seat available. Ricciardo's not gonna be an F1 next season, but
I bet you would take that ride now.
He would take that ride now.
I bet you would. But it's just the favoritism is unreal, and we're seeing favoritism across a lot of the teams. I mean, the last lap, if you were listening to Alpine's radio at all, I mentioned the drama that they had. I mean, Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon do not get along. But like the radio was if on Esteban Ocon, like they were like, you will not initiate contact with Fernando, you will not race Fernando, stay behind him. I'm in front of Fernando, stay behind him. Like they were like very much so.
Ocon was kind of being a dick about it though.
That was in the sprint, I think.
It was also
it was in the race. It was after the caution.
Car. It was after the safety car.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
We're talking F1. We're talking F1. It's a safety car. Thank you.
Yeah.
When I turned it on and saw that it was yellow, it said caution on the screen. That's all I'm saying.
So you need, when we're talking about F1, you need to talk like this.
I gotta say the F word every
Formula
other sentence too.
Formula One. Dude,
but in that scenario, he was behind. I want to say he was behind Vettel, and then Alonso was like right behind him, and they're like, "We need you to not race Alonso," and he was like,
"That wasn't."
He was like, "I can pass Vettel."
Yeah,
and they're like,
"He said I can pass Vettel,"
but like,
yeah,
don't race Alonso. He's like, that's not what I'm trying to ask. He's like, I'm trying to say I could get ahead of Vettel. Stop telling me what to do.
Esteban,
and they're like,
just
don't do anything with Alonso. He was like, yeah, not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
I liked Ocon.
You said it a few times. Just agree and then keep racing and don't initiate contact.
I get it because Alonso's leaving. Like he's going to Aston Martin to probably be in a worse situation because it's funny to see who's who's trying to be a worse teammate this season, Esteban Ocon or Lance Stroll, because they're having a little bit of a battle with that right now. I don't know. Max Verstappen might take the cake on that one.
I personally liked Ocon doing that. I think a lot of drivers, especially Checo from earlier in the season, he definitely should have done a lot more of that, like fighting against the. I like team
Carlos Sainz did the same thing while he was leading the race. I mean, he denied team order. They wanted Leclerc to go through. Yeah. Like Sainz was leading the entire race, and I forget which one he won in Spain, right? I can't remember. But like he led the entire race. It was Silverstone? Okay. He led the entire race. Like
yeah, I think like Ocon was right to kind of do it, but he was like very persistent after like the second time of having like to clarify what he meant. I was like, just say like okay. Because if you would have just said like okay and then kept racing how he was planning on racing, it wouldn't have been an issue. Because his like what he wanted to do versus what they wanted him to do, they didn't like mesh. Like it's not like they were the same thing on opposite sides. He was just kind of, I don't know. I agree with like what he was like thinking, but I think the way he was kind of like talking back to him was like, dude.
I see Ocon's point of view because he said he wanted to get ahead of Vettel and then he would let Alonso have the position because he probably knew he could easily pass Vettel. So he just was going to pass Vettel.
And then he did eventually. But
yeah. And
I think Fernando actually ended up going past him.
Probably. I don't remember.
Because Fernando ended up finishing P5, and I believe Ocon finished P8.
But yeah, I don't know. So I know you got some questions, Tristan. Oh, wait, no, I have one more.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
So with how consistent Mercedes has been at the end of the season, do you think this momentum will carry over into 2023? And do you think we will see Mercedes back on top?
I think George Russell is a championship threat in 2023. I think he said this is just the beginning. I think Russell could be up there with Verstappen. I think it might be between them.
Okay.
I think. Because I think Ferrari is going to have a big decline. I think they might win the opener next season. But, like, I think they're going to be on a rapid decline. I mean, they just signed Sainz to an extension. I mean, I don't know. That's just me.
Daniel?
I don't necessarily think it'll just be Red Bull. I think Mercedes will improve next year. Will they be neck and neck with Red Bull? I don't know. I think they'll be more consistent than they were this year. And I do hope Ferrari doesn't have the same thing happen where they start really strong and then just slowly fall off. Because I feel like them and Mercedes, like, pretty much run opposite sides and then just swapped.
Mm-hmm.
They pretty much had reverse seasons.
Yeah.
And I know like Leclerc is still second in the standings, but in terms of just like team
Lewis
momentum,
has finished on podium for the past 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't necessarily think George Russell or Lewis Hamilton will be like title contenders. I hope George Russell is. I hope he is. But it's after just seeing the Red Bull dominance, I can't imagine it just goes away that easily.
Well, remember they have a fine and the aero penalty next year too.
I don't know how much that'll do. I really don't.
Like it'll do a lot. 10% will do a lot for aero.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's why I'm saying I think Mercedes. In my opinion, I think Mercedes will be back on top next season. I think they will.
Yeah. So you get it.
I'd be fine with it.
Get it. Yeah.
I think they'll
I
win the
wouldn't complain.
constructors. I mean,
All right,
they may not necessarily win the drivers' championship, but I think they'll win the constructors.
That's fair. That's fair.
Go ahead, Tristan. Sorry.
Okay, so let's go through the podium really quick. Just because I have a lot of stuff. George Russell finally wins his first Grand Prix, his 8th podium of the year, 9th of his career. Technically, really 8th of his career because he was pretty much qualified into a podium for his first one last year. It's also cool. You score your first points the year prior, and then you win your first race. That's pretty cool for George Russell. And fun fact, he made his debut at this race back in 2017. So that's really cool. He was able to take it home. Lewis Hamilton gets his 9th podium of the season, finishing P2. His 191st podium of his career. That's insane. I think most all time. That's insane. Carlos Sainz gets his 8th podium of the season, his 15th of his career. Easily best season of his. I want to talk about Lewis Hamilton really quick. We've seen Lewis Hamilton race in F1 since 2007. He's won a race every single year. Does he have a shot next weekend, or are we going to see Lewis have his first winless season?
It's going to be Lewis's first winless season.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. I'm not elaborating more.
It's a track that it's very possible.
Here's the thing. I mean, he finished second here last season. I think he's going to finish on podium here again. I think he definitely has a shot. But, I mean, I can't be the only one that doesn't think that Max Verstappen's not going to win here next weekend. I don't know. I have a feeling that it might be a different guy winning this race.
If Mercedes keeps bringing what they've been bringing, then I definitely see it happening.
Well, you'll see who I'm picking for in predictions. Yeah, that's my only pick. Real question, guys. Let's go ahead and go back to the main screen. All that talk about F1. I need to get a little bit of my NASCAR supremacy in here. We gotta talk about SHR. Okay, guys. Stuart Haas Racing has some decisions to make. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, but they really have some decisions to make, guys. Next season, it is most likely going to be Kevin Harvick and Eric Almirola's final season in the NASCAR Cup Series. Almirola was supposed to retire this season and signed an extension. Probably because they couldn't find anyone to get in the 10 car. Kevin Harvick was supposed to retire back in 2020. Signed a 2-year extension, then signed another extension to be racing next season. It has pretty much been announced that Harvick will race his final season next year, which is sad in its own right because I love Kevin Harvick. He's my dad's favorite driver. Was my favorite NASCAR livery of the season was that 4 Busch car. Loved it. The future of SHR is not very good, as we've talked about. For especially one driver, and his name's Cole Custer. Custer came into the NASCAR scene as the son of that guy for Haas, number 3 at Haas, Joe Custer. Was great in Xfinity, never won a championship, great in trucks, goes to Cup, wins Rookie of the Year, and makes the playoffs with his win at Kentucky. The next 2 seasons, he finishes sub 25 in points. Ryan Preece was signed as their reserve driver and was supposed to make Cup starts for SHR in 2022. That did not happen. He ended up running for Rick Ware Racing, which is very interesting. So it's going to be either Ryan Preece or Cole Custer in that 41 car. But now, really quick, with you two guys, who do you think is going to be in that 41 car, Cole Custer or Ryan Preece next season?
it needs to be Ryan Preece because Cole Custer has not proved himself at all. He got that one win at Kentucky, and that's all he's ever done that's been good, in my opinion. So
He's kind of like Felix Rosenquist, except not as good.
oof.
I was gonna say, I was like, don't
I
compare
was
him
gonna say,
to
I
Felix,
don't know
bro.
about that, but yeah, I
mean,
can see where
Rosenquist
you're.
only
I can
has
see
one
where,
win.
I can see where you're coming from with that, but I feel
Yeah,
like
but
Rosenquist
he's got
can
poles.
He can be more consistent.
Custer can qualify. I will say Custer can
Rosenquist can
qualify.
finish at least not bottom 20
Yeah.
every race.
Yeah, facts. But who do you think?
I mean, who
Daniel?
was top 10 in points this year?
Facts. Who almost wasn't? Colton Herta. Anyway, go ahead, Daniel. Who do you think is I gotta take my shot. I take one shot a week.
Hey, listen.
Okay, who do you think's
I'm
gonna be
used
in
to the
that car?
inconsistency.
Who's gonna be in that car next season? Cole Custer or Ryan Preece? Or who do you think deserves to be?
Here's my take. While I agree that, like, performance-wise, it should be Priest, let's look at it from the Ford perspective, okay? Ford perspective. If you're building an organization, especially in NASCAR where it's all manufacturer based, Ford has like nobody really cup ready.
No development.
I would argue that Zane Smith is cup ready, but he's a front row guy.
He's a front row guy, and I don't know if his tie is specifically to Ford or front row, which is why I'm don't think about Zane Smith. Everybody outside of Zane Smith, that's what we're talking about.
Yep.
Because you look in the Xfinity series, obviously Stuart Haas has what's his
Riley
face,
Herbst.
Herbst. Yeah, Riley Herbst. Don't think Herbst is cup ready.
He's not.
Haley
Haley Deegan
Deegan will go to Xfinity this year. If I had to assume, obviously nothing's been done. We don't know for a fact. That's what should probably happen. We're not sending her straight to Cup. Would not make any sense. Don't even think about it.
Yeah, this isn't 2000.
Realistically, for me, if I'm running this business, I think you keep Custer in. Simply because you've got nobody ready to step up. I think you keep ties with Priest. You keep him in like kind of a role that he was this year. Keep him in the availability because you've got two drivers that are about to retire in the next year or two. Potentially one still retiring. We don't know what's happening with Almirola. He's kind of a mystery right now. If something happens with the 10, swing Priest right up to the 10. If not, keep him in kind of a similar role as he is this year. Maybe have some Xfinity starts for him. I don't know if you do a part-time car. I don't know if you do a partnership with a different team. Priest is a really good driver. But Custer is used to this car, and I don't think moving Custer down to the Xfinity Series, even though he is really good in the Xfinity Series, we saw that this season, he won a race, I don't think you send him back to the Xfinity Series, because what's that going to do for his confidence? If you say, oh yeah, we'll keep a ride available for you, but you're not good enough for it right now, and you've already had him in the past 3 seasons, if I'm the team owner, I'm at least keeping him a season or two more, and if you don't see improvement, that's it. But I don't pause what he's doing and say, hold the phone, take a break, we'll put you back in, see how you are after 1 or 2 years of not being in this car. If I'm running this team, I'm keeping him in, waiting for any sign of improvement. If that doesn't happen, that's when you pull the plug. By that point, you should have more drivers ready to step up, whether that's Herbst, Deegan, more drivers that kind of move from either Chevy or Toyota to Ford development. I don't know what that specifically looks like, because obviously that's a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years away. I don't think you pull the plug on Custer. Do I think Custer necessarily deserves this seat right now? No. But if I'm looking at it from like the business perspective, the performance perspective, the long-term like look at things, I don't think it makes sense to just pull Custer out, put Priest in for a season or two, and then put Custer back. That's just my take.
See, like I disagree personally because like I he's been in the Cup Series for 3 years now.
Yeah.
and he's only won one race, and his stats other than that just don't prove he's good enough for
He
the Cup
had
Series.
no top fives this season.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he's necessarily like the best for the seat. I'm just looking at it from like a long-term perspective. If you keep flip-flopping these like
He also
older
brings, like,
drivers
no
into a
sponsorship.
seat,
Yeah.
He also brings
Yeah.
no sponsorship.
Ryan Preece could actually bring something beneficial with having sponsorship.
fair.
Because Priest has Hunt Brothers. He has a couple other little sponsors as well. Yeah. Here's my take. I think Ryan Preece is going to be in the 41 next season. I think Custer is done. Here's my reasoning why. SHR is not the only Ford team in the Cup Series. Other notable Ford teams in the Cup Series are Penske. They're not getting any of the Penske guys. Roush Fenwick, Keselowski Racing, Wood Brothers Racing, Front Row Motorsports. These are all Ford teams in the Cup Series. If I'm Tony Stewart, I'm not really looking at my guys in Xfinity to move up. Maybe I look at Riley Herbst. Here's what I would do personally. I'm calling the Wood Brothers in the offseason of 2023. And I'm calling Roger Penske. And I'm putting Harrison Burton in one of the two cars. Okay? So your 2023 lineup would be you have Ryan Preece. You have Chase Briscoe.
The thing there is though, Harrison Burton doesn't necessarily bring any like sponsorship.
Yeah, he does.
Other than Dex.
Yeah, but Dex sponsors him like all the time. Like he's like his full sponsor.
Motorcraft.
But like think about the Xfinity series. Like Dex was on his car the entire season.
I guess that's fair.
Dex is a big sponsor. That's why I'm saying. That was my main argument for him. Okay. Because NASCAR is a sponsorship league. We saw it this season. Kyle Busch lost his seat because he didn't have sponsorship. Chase Briscoe is your team captain in 2024. Okay. Then you have Ryan Preece, who's probably going to come off of like a decent year, probably not playoffs, but like playoff threat. Then you only have two cars to fill. I'm filling one of them with Harrison Burton. I'm thinking Riley Herbst is not going to go to that fourth car. I think Herbst goes to the 21, and we see him in the 21 in 2024. And then either I'm doing one of two things, and it's with Front Row Motorsports. We don't know specifically if Zane Smith is a Front Row Motorsports guy or if he is a Ford guy. The first option is put Zane Smith in your fourth car. Rookie, full-time, 2024. That's your skip the Xfinity Series, do what Todd Gilliland did. My other thing, and you might call me crazy for this, if Zane Smith is a Front Row Motorsports guy, Todd Gilliland is probably going to stay in Front Row Motorsports forever just because of his ties with David Gilliland Racing and David Gilliland and all that stuff. I'm calling Michael McDowell to be that fourth driver for Stuart Haas in 2024. The best season of his career last season. Tony Stewart has, and I honestly thought Michael McDowell might be going to the chart this season. 2024, I'm thinking Michael McDowell could have a seat in the 10 car. That's just me.
I think they need to expand their Xfinity or truck programs more to allow more development.
Yeah.
They need to go to two. I think they need to go to two cars in Xfinity because they need to put Preece in a car so that way he is racing. I know he does treks and stuff and he fills in for Xfinity sometime, but
I think he'll be in Cup next season. So
yeah,
that's just me.
That's fair.
I think Custer's gone. I think Custer will probably be gone after this season.
I hope.
Maybe he goes to Rick Ware. Maybe he'll drive in the 15 at Rick Ware full time, which I doubt will happen. But I think 2023, Ryan Preece takes the seat. That announcement should come out in the next week or 2 weeks, see if we're right. But 2024, Chase Briscoe, Ryan Preece, Harrison Burton. I think that would be pretty much, that's like a guaranteed one. And then just for sponsorship, and then my fourth driver is either Zane Smith or Michael McDowell. I think that's like the four seams, because then you get a veteran. Because Daniel was talking about how he thinks Stuart Haas should go after a free agent. Michael McDowell is technically a free agent after 2023 if he wants to stay with Ford and he wants a better seat. He's not a bad driver. You put him in a Stuart Haas equipment, he's a playoff threat.
He's 30. 37. He'll be 39 then, though.
Martin Truex Jr. signed with Joe Gibbs Racing when he was 39.
Martin Truex Jr. didn't get a win this season.
Martin Truex Jr. won a championship.
Yeah, but not right now.
Yeah, still. You've only watched NASCAR while
I
Martin Truex
know. I'm just saying, like, I don't know if McDowell at this age, I would want to swing him up to a, we'll say bigger team because, like,
How old is McDowell right now?
37. So he'll be
37.
39 by the time he would
Because
potentially be at Stewart Haas.
40, 41, 42-ish is when NASCAR drivers are ending their peak eras.
You get a good 3 years, 2 or 3 years with McDowell, full sponsorship from Love's Travel Stops. Like, I think that would be a good spot for him. Maybe that's just the McDowell fan of me, but I honestly think that he would be a good seat at JGR. I think he'd be I think at JGR, at Stewart Haas Racing. I think he'd be a good fit.
I'm not saying it would be a bad fit. I just realistically, I don't know. I don't know if they'd go more for a youth movement if possible.
I think they need to sign a veteran, and because you already have 3 young guys in Ryan Preece, Chase Briscoe, Harrison Burton. I think Michael McDowell would be a that fit. Or, as I mentioned, guys, Zane Smith. I think Zane Smith is Cup Series ready right now. I think he could go. I don't think he needed to re-sign with Front Row this offseason. I don't think he needed another season of trucks. I wanted to see him in either the Xfinity Series or the Cup Series.
I mean, he was initially going to be in the Cup Series this year.
Facts, he was. He was going to be in that
CGR.
That CGR, number 1, which is crazy. But hey, you never know. Or, maybe he replaces Brad Keselowski because Brad's probably going to retire soon. I don't know. There's a lot of guys that are on the verge of retirement. We'll talk about this a lot more next season. But that's all I really got to talk about with SHR. Jay, you know what time it is?
It's predictions time.
The final predictions of the seasons, guys. Let's get it.
All right. Okay, guys. So, last week, Tristan and Daniel both got 1 point, and they got a point correct with Lewis Hamilton finishing second on the podium. So that brings the totals to me at 40, Tristan at 37, and Daniel at 28. Tristan, we have the potential to tie if you get the entire podium correct this next weekend.
Yes, we do. And if we tie, then we'll figure something out. I don't think it's going to happen.
Scissors.
Probably. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Jay's pretty much locked it up, which is why I'm going to go a little bit crazy. Not really crazy. My P1 is going to be Lewis Hamilton. I think we do not see a winless season from Hamilton. I think through goes Hamilton, and he gets it going. P2, I think they go 1-2. I'm going to go George Russell. I think George Russell is going to go P2. I think Mercedes is going to cap off their incredible revival of the second half of the season. P3 is where it gets hard because you have drivers like Max Verstappen who are really good here. However, there is some drama going on at Red Bull Racing. You have drivers like Charles Leclerc who is good here. And you even have drivers like Lando Norris who are really good here. Who do I go with? I got to go with the champion. Max Verstappen is my final pick. For P3, all of us picked him to win this race. All of us picked him to win last week, and he finished like 7th. So, you know what I mean?
He's an 8.
So, I should have stuck with my gut there. But, yep, that's my podium, guys. Lewis Hamilton, George Russell, Max Verstappen. And I think that second in points will be Charles Leclerc. I think Checo's going to have a retirement.
All right, Daniel.
Hey.
Daniel's out here just picking for fun.
Yeah, screw it, Screw it. P1, George Russell. 2 in a row.
Okay.
I thought about it.
P2, put Lewis back up there.
Okay.
He's on a good streak. I don't know if they'll win, but I wouldn't be surprised if he won, but I've got nothing left to lose. I'll pick my boy P1. P3. I feel like the drama is going to get to him, And with that, I'm meaning Checo Perez will not be P3 because it's going to be Charles Leclerc.
Dang.
I think the drama is going to be too much between Red Bull. There's going to be some fights. There's going to be some disagreements. For once, Ferrari is looking like not the most drama on a team.
I don't know. I think Red Bull definitely has drama, but I think Alpine is going to take the cake this weekend for most drama on a team. It's just me.
Possible. It's possible.
Pole setter is going to be Kevin Magnussen.
All right, so my podium.
Hey, he's looking pretty on the thumbnail, just saying.
My podium. I'm going to go with Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez, and then George Russell to round out my podium.
Okay, guys, so it's completely different picks than mine. So it'll be one or the other. We'll be hoisting the Indy Boys trophy. Guess we'll see. I think Jay's locked it up. I honestly think he has, but group pick.
This one go okay.
Can I actually, for the podium in his final race of his career, I think it's only right that we pick Sebastian Vettel.
Okay, bet.
I thought you were about to say Ricardo.
I think it's only right that we kiss Daniel Ricciardo's ass goodbye. And
I agree with that statement.
yeah,
I like him, but yeah,
he's a good person. I just don't think he's.
He should come
I don't
to
like him
IndyCar.
anymore. I don't like him anymore.
He
Anyway.
should just come to IndyCar.
He said I don't like him anymore.
You don't have to do ovals. Just come to IndyCar, bro. Like,
He says they scare him.
yeah, he doesn't have to do them.
But guys, that is the final. Wow, that's incredible. The final predictions of the season. So many memories have happened in these predictions this season. Everyone that always talks to us about the show says that the predictions are their favorite part. Like, they stay till the end for the predictions to see some random stuff we'll say. It's been full of us waving Jimmy Johnson flags and picking Trevor Bayne every week to some amazing calls of the year, with Daniel picking Ross Chastain at Coda, to me picking Ty Majeski. Like, there's been some good calls, and to Jay going 2 for 3 in the championship fours. There's been some great picks this season, and we're gonna keep it predictions for next season. We're really excited. We might change it up a little bit. We're gonna talk about it in the off season, guys, about what we're gonna do with predictions. But keeping it kind of simple like this is always nice. It's nice and simple this way. But you never know. Let's go ahead and close this episode out. Thanks, guys, so much for listening to episode 44 of the Indy Boys Racing Podcast. Haas Highs and Mercedes Master Class. Next week, guys, is going to be episode 45, the season finale. It is a little disappointing, a little bit sad. Not disappointing, I think just sad. We'll be all sappy and I'll cry next weekend, but it'll be awesome. We really hope that the final race of the season is amazing. I can't believe it's come to this, but Abu Dhabi, guys, it's gonna happen, and the end of the season is among us, like the imposter. Jay, Jay, what do you got to say, man, before we close it?
Make sure you guys are signing up for the Indy Boys Cup series that we're gonna be doing on iRacing in the off season. To kind of fill our off season with something racing, you know what I'm saying? So make sure you guys are signing up for that. I'm going to leave the link in the description below for that. It's a Google document. It's an AI series. You don't got to do anything. You just sign up, then watch the videos. That's all you got to do. You don't even have to show up to actually on the iRacing service to watch it. You just watch the YouTube video that we're going to put out for it. So yeah. So just sign up for that. And then we got 2 more things that we're doing that are going to be really fun this off season, that we're probably going to talk about in the next episode. So
yeah, we'll announce one of them really quick. We have a Discord server, guys. Jay and our moderators have been working really hard on it. The Indy Boys Discord server is going live on Wednesday, November 16th. So if you're listening to it It's already, if you're listening to the show, it's live right now. Click the link in the bio on YouTube, or click the link on our Twitter, Instagram, social media. It's going to be in the link trees, guys. Join the Discord. Be a genuine person. Be nice when you're in the Discord, and we hope you enjoy it, because
it'll make you read the rules. It'll be okay.
It's for you guys. We're doing this for you guys so that we can stay connected throughout the off season, so that we can have fun next season. Do some live streams, have a good time, so you guys can talk to us. It's where we're going to be hosting our racing spaces next season. It's going to be super fun. Plus, you might get some exclusive interviews. Maybe we'll do some conversations with some of our driver friends. Maybe you'll get to tell Stingray Rob how much you love his name. You never know.
True.
Daniel, you got anything you want to shout out?
Don't know. I was thinking the whole time, nothing came to me.
Shout out.
We'll shout out
to our
all beautiful
the pairs.
fans. Shout out to all the pairs.
Shout out to all the
M&Ms. We've been making fun of Eminem since we sat down in this Discord today. I don't know why. It's just the facial hair and the white hat. That's all it is. It's the white hat.
Hot coffee pot.
It's calm before the storm right here.
About to drop this kamikaze.
Yeah, so I guess shout out to Eminem for that. Shout out to Dalton Kellett for just existing. You know?
Yeah. We haven't talked about him this episode. We miss him.
Yeah. I don't know how.
I high-key miss him. He's getting married, so he's busy.
High-key, dude. I just do miss him.
I miss him. Yeah. I'll have to text him. I'll have to say what's up to him.
Let's crash a wedding, boys.
Bro, that'd be crazy. Sneaking into Dalton Kellett's wedding.
Video idea. Write it down, Jay.
Oh my god. All right, guys. Signing off for Daniel Chaney and Justin Cox. My name is Tristan Grider. Shout out to all you amazing Indy Boys fans. Love you guys. Have a good one. Peace.